Well, thanks, Marshall, for getting me into this. This is the ST36 that we have here, and then there's another one. I don't remember the model number of this one, but it's a chronograph, which is much more complex. That is going to be for when we've done this a little bit more and we're feeling a little bit more ambitious. But for today, we're going to open up this one. I'm going to zoom this out a little bit for a second. Here we go. Looks like it's just there we go. Should just open up here. There it is. And this watch just has a tiny little second hand right here. And you can actually see the escapement through that little hole right there. Those holes right there. That's really cool. Yeah, I wish I had a more powerful camera to show that. Let's see if I can. There we go. Look at that. Alright, it's going to be cooler on the other side. Let's see how hard or easy this thing is to take out. I can't see any locking mechanism. That doesn't mean there's not one there. Do you think that thing should just come off? Yep, there we go, it'll come out. Nice and gently, lift that up. Put the case knife back. This is going to have to be opened up a ton. You can see the last watch that I was playing with was much smaller. It's going to have to open that up by about 100%. Flip it over as well. Okay. All right. Make sure that the hands aren't going to get pinched in any way here. Oh, gotta open that up a little bit more. There we go, that's tight in there. Oof. Isn't that beautiful? Oof. here's the question. Are we just gonna go for this thing? Or, I know that there's a disassembly video on this thing. We should probably watch that first, but I wanted to get it out of the case just so that I could look around, see what's going on, get a basic idea of the lay of the land. What we could do is remove the dial from the other side and the hands, and that would get us access to see the keyless works on the other side, which is how this thing gets wound up. Let's make sure we're not pinching this thing. We'll actually just put this like here. Oh, we actually can see most of the keyless works without having to remove it. Yeah, let's see if we can get you a better zoom. Turned off automatic zoom on the camera because it was really not playing nice. I think that's a pretty good angle of it though. You can see all the winding, and then you can pull this out to set the watch. Let me see if I can't get this in the holder. This is making me nervous. Yeah, that'll go in like that. Please hold. There we go. Now, the bottom of it can't accidentally get hit by something. Let's bring this back out a little bit. Now you can kind of see. You get a macro lens, this stuff is so tiny. But you can see when you pull it out, it disengages differently. And now you can set the watch to whatever time you'd want it to be. Obviously there's no markings to say what time it is. But if we push it back in, now it's going to rotate, and this is going to power up the barrel. Ah, so fun. Thank you, Marshall. By the way, people were wondering, Marshall is the starter of the channel Wristwatch Revival. And he's the person that got me into this, and I have really been enjoying it. My fiance bought me the whole kit from Marshall's website so that I could actually start learning how to do this as a hobby, which is really fun. So thank you, fiance. This movement just arrived this afternoon, so this is the first mechanical. I fixed my old, my mom gave me this when I was like 16. It's an old Wenger Swiss quartz watch. The battery was dead, and so we opened it up, we replaced the battery, we also just disassembled the watch quite a bit just to see how it all was working, because I'm a curious person. And now it's running again. So that was probably the fun. That was the first, but this is a step up, which is just lots and lots of tiny little parts. And I'm trying to decide if I want to start disassembly tonight or just see what's going on in here and poke around a little bit. I might end up going and watching some more of Marshall's videos on this particular movement before I try to just dive in. But that's kind of the purpose of these movements, is that if I mess something up, it's not a big deal. We paid $40 for it, and we could get another one from Marshall or from a number of websites that sells them. The idea being is that we could potentially put this thing into a case of some kind, but it's mainly made as a training aid. let's actually do this so we can see. I'm curious how much tension it takes to stop that balance from spinning. So I'm going to open this up a little, get it clamped in, and this should just be next to no friction will stop this thing. Yeah. So this is what runs at the heart of every mechanical watch, is this tiny little thing. And let's actually rotate it around. I want to show other people because this is what I fell in love with. So you can see it right down in this little gap, right down in there. You can see that little ticky-tack back and forth. That is actually the escapement wheel that's rotating around, and underneath the balance here is this little tick-tock movement that you can see. That pink little piece right there, that is the jewel. Yeah, that's so cool. So if we stop it, the watch is essentially stopped now, and it will just kick back up to life because of the spring in the back. Oh, awesome. So one thing we could do here is actually just take off the balance real fast and just see. What's the right size here? That looks a little small. Let's go for a 140. Yeah. So we're gonna do this. We'll start with just taking off the balance. Oh, I don't want this. This is too high of a magnification. Could probably do this with the naked eye, but my eyes aren't what they used to be. Okay, we'll grab these medium-sized tweezers to take this screw out. And now the balance should just come off. I'm not missing a screw here. No, I'm not. Okay. Lifting it out, being very careful. See if we can show this everybody. There's a tiny little spring on that thing that's just very, very fragile. So we're gonna put that off to the side. And now we can see what powers it. So that little teeny tiny thing should just kick back and forth very slightly. Let me see if I can actually zoom in far enough. Probably not. Da, da, da. Let's see if we can get this in focus. Yeah, it does not want to focus that close. Not the right lens for this. Alright, maybe. Oh, there we go. So this thing is going to kick back and forth if you touch it. And this is how the watch runs. Just the very slightest touch. that's how a watch runs. I'm going to put it back together for now, and then we are going to look at the disassembly diagrams and watch some of the videos. Whew. I also want to make sure that I go and make sure I'm calling everything the right thing for posterity. Not that I am an expert by any means, but I just like making sure that I'm using all the right nomenclature. So if somebody does find this, I don't say things that other people aren't saying. Okay, there we go. So you know, let's wind this back up a little bit more. Alright, that does look like it's running good. Okay, so everything looked like it's seated well. I'm going to flip it over after I put this screw in and just make sure that that is in fact in the right spot. These screws are so much easier than the ones on the electric that I was messing with yesterday, because there's little seating holes for them. The watch that I was taking apart yesterday, they were just tiny little thin metal pieces that did not want to go together. Oh, that's satisfying. Alright, let's take this out, flip it over. You guys are probably not going to be able to see this, but I want to double check and make sure that that is socketed in that pink jewel that you see right there. I'll point out for you. This is the bottom of the balance, and I just want to take a look at that with the 12x magnification, make sure it's in the right spot. Yep. I am definitely going to need some more magnification to see that in the future. That is so insanely small. Oh, I just really stopped the balance wheel with my finger. We have something here on the bench. I don't know if this is a metal filing or what, but that's a little concerning. You see that? My guess is that is just some of the machining parts. I'm gonna go ahead and snag that and pull it off to the side. And then I'm gonna get my air blower and just blow in this movement. So put that in our dust tray, and we're gonna get this little blower out. Where are you at? Here you go. These are not the world's most expensive movements, but they're really great for learning, so it's not surprising that there might be a little bit of pieces coming out of it. Yeah. Before I start doing this, I'm gonna go watch some videos. But I wanted to share because A, exciting, B, another shout out to Marshall at Wristwatch Revival, and a shout out to my fiance for kicking my butt into gear in actually doing this, because I've been talking about it for over a year, and I'm really excited. Got all the tools now to play around. Not all the tools, there's a billion tools for this hobby, but Super excited. Till next time.